put the F back in wrestling.
Elbow drops and lariats from the top rope. You can't cope. The Effin' Wrestling Podcast in the house. Now that's dope. Starcade and SummerSlam all rolled into one. Drop kick, sleeper holes, 1, 2, 3, done. Whole mics like Mean Gene or Gordon Soley. I'm Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with that Crockett trophy. So listen closely as we approach the final hour in an instant. Hands raised, crowds phase without the time limit. Effin' Wrestling Podcast with that ultimate finish. Suplex, now you're ending. Yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show. Let's go.
What's up, everybody?
JR, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm doing well, man. Just kicking back, ready to have another great conversation and talk about some
effing wrestling. And a little effing wrestling, and hopefully we'll have some good conversation to bring our spirits up a little bit.
Right, we need it because we lost one of the legends this week.
Yeah, man.
We lost Road Warrior Animal.
Road Warrior Animal, man. Man, that's tough. We don't have the Road Warriors anymore. They're gone.
No, they're both gone, man.
Both of them are gone now.
There's still Paul Ellery, but Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk, they're different doomsday devices in that greater area, man.
Look, everybody better be good. They're probably both standing on both sides of St. Peter as everybody enter the pearly gate. So everybody be
Those
good.
Massive shoulder pads on. It's like, what is it? It would be the SummerSlam '92 look, where it's like they're silver and white.
Ooh,
and they're like they're gold and white, and just kind of looks all like angelic while still looking demonic. But I mean, dude, for fans of the podcast, I think they were definitely my favorite tag team at the time. Yeah. They were yours because they just had such an aura about them, man.
Yeah.
And that continued. I mean, they've wrestled from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and still did indie tour. Animal still did indie tours well after when Hop passed away. Doing some indie spots where the shoulder, rock the shoulder pads and doing a gymnasium show.
Yeah.
So that longevity is there because these guys lasted. Their characters stayed with the fans for years.
So long.
And they lasted. They got the cheers and they inspired. There's wrestlers today that still rock face paint because the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, did that. Yep. And so while he is gone, Road Warrior Animal will never be forgotten. And that is
man. And the Road Warriors. And the Road Warriors will never be. There'll never be another tag team as big as the Road Warriors ever.
Absolutely not, man.
Not as big as far as like the pop and what they brought to tag team wrestling, the eyes that they brought to tag team wrestling.
They were the first tag team, I would easily say, main event, and it mattered. Yeah. Like they were as big as
they were. If they were on the card, they were pretty much main evented.
Oh, and their matches weren't anything special, man. They were just like bit of hoss guys who would throw their weight around. There were two bouncers from Chicago that
beautiful,
mean and intimidating, man. But it just worked. The spectacle was there.
Yeah.
I think the other day I was talking to my roommate, and one thing we both commented on was all of professional wrestling owes so much to the Mad Max series.
Wow.
I mean, there's Thunderdome, the Road Warriors, the wearing spikes, the face paint, the insane haircut styles. It was all there, and they were one of the first. So always for that. So Jared, let me ask you, man.
Much respect. What's up, buddy?
What in wrestling? What in wrestling got you interested this week? What did you watch? What did you think? What's happening in the world?
All right, I'm about to go ahead and set this shit off.
You were mad earlier. You were mad at work, and you want to save it for now. So hit me with it, man. What you got?
What? Retribution?
Oh God, yes. I think it's so funny how just a few weeks ago.
Hey,
say it.
Retribution. Get the F out of my wrestling.
Get the F out of my wrestling.
I mean, what in the hell? I don't care.
I mean, I think it's hilarious that a week ago we were talking about factions.
Yeah.
And now WWE's introduced this group that they've been teasing for a few months, and it's the worst thing I've seen in wrestling for quite some time.
Yo, this shit is the worst shit. I mean, sorry, pardon my language. I apologize, everybody. I'm sorry.
We're adults.
I mean, wrestling, I'm passionate, and I love wrestling, man. And
it's adult language. It's passionate language.
I just don't understand, man. I don't care what they doing. Like,
so
it's Dominic Dijakovic. which is
I'm sorry,
T-Bar now.
it's T-Bar. Say it right.
T-Bar.
It's T-Bar.
T-Bar.
And
the
now
other dude is that Dio Madden dude is
Dio Madden, who's now Mace,
man.
and Shane Thorne is Slapjack.
Wow.
And what
then
is it?
Williams
Who else?
with him and Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah, and that's
So
far that's the group.
Like if they couldn't get over in NXT,
Yeah.
like they're mid carders in NXT. Yeah, Dominic had a good little. He had three great matches with Keith Lee.
Yeah, but I almost feel
But
like they've
that's
had
it.
great matches on the indies though, so I feel like it's just WWE going, "Hey, go copy paste repeat."
Bring
They
something.
did. They
Bring
put
that
on
here.
great matches.
But who the hell are they gonna beat on the roster? Like they're not.
Dude, they
What
just
are they?
introduced.
What do they want? Who? They can't be the
How are
leader.
you there to
I feel
destroy
like somebody
something?
else is a leader. Has to be,
Absolutely.
right? Has to be.
Absolutely, man. Well, how can you be there to destroy something if you sign contracts? What are you trying to bring down if you're joining? And it makes no sense. It's like we can have matches now. Well, you weren't really here to do that.
They have an entrance now and graphics and shit.
And masks that don't fit.
And masks. I mean, come on.
Mia Yim was trying to keep it from falling off the
It's so
entire
stupid.
promo. I felt bad for him.
I'm so close. I'm so close to just giving up on Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown is keeping me interested because I'm loving this Roman Reigns shit.
Dude, Roman Reigns is killing it. Well, we've been saying it for years, man. He should be a Heyman guy. I mean, he is like the natural progression for a Heyman guy right there. And so they're doing it. And it's cool.
I've been saying for a long time, man, Roman Reigns should have been a heel a long time ago.
Yeah, dude. He has he needs a better move. I want a better finisher for Roman Reigns.
He needs the jackhammer, right?
Absolutely, dude. The jackhammer. I mean, just think about it. Roman Reigns hoisting you up and then just throwing you down.
Beautiful.
It would just be
beautiful.
You know what's actually saving Raw for me?
What's that?
And it's another faction, Hurt Business.
Oh.
MVP, Cedric Alexander, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. Those guys
killing it.
Killing.
Loving it.
I mean, they're like the Black Four Horsemen, dude. They're rocking suits. They're just cool.
Beating the shit out of people, smooth as hell. I love it.
It's like when me and you talk about Naito and his intro. And half of it is that he looks like this anime video game villain. Yeah. And they walk out, man, they look like some badass comic book gangster villains. They just look cool.
100%.
And like Bobby Lashley, man, he's finally over with me, dude. World title. Yeah. You know how I am with a faction, dude. If they exist, give them all the gold.
Give them the gold. Why not? They would look good, man. How good would that look, them walking out with all the gold?
All of it.
With the suits, all of the gold?
Horsemen.
Come on. Let's do it.
It's
Let's do it.
See, Horseman's not even a group. It's a compliment.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if you're a faction and you look cool, you're a horseman.
Yeah. What they need is a number one. They need Keith Lee.
I don't like that, man. Keith Lee's not a heel.
Make him a heel. Make him a heel.
You know what they need? You know what they need? They need a woman to go to the women's titles. Ooh. I throw a question to you and all the viewers. If you're watching this, comment below and your opinion on this. JR.
I got it.
Is it Bianca Belair?
I got it.
Or is it Shayna Baszler? I think it's Shayna Baszler. Dude, think about Shayna. I like Bianca, I do, but I think Shayna Baszler is badass. I think she fits.
I totally agree, but I think it's got
It works. It does, but I mean, they're both the 1-2 for it, man. Like, they work for the same reason. I could just see. I like Bianca with Street Profits.
She ain't gonna leave Street Profits.
I don't see Street Profits joining Hurt Business.
Nah. And Nia Jax is about to join up with Roman Reigns and shit. Hopefully.
Yeah. And I mean,
hopefully all the Samoans are gonna come together. That's what I'm hoping. That's gonna be some good stuff.
Even get Samoa Joe over there.
Yeah. Or shit. Hey, give them what about Naomi? Naomi joined the Hurt Business. Make her a heel. She'd be a badass shit-talking heel, yo.
I'd like that, but if we're building the Samoan, she's closer to the Samoan family since she's married to one.
I'm talking about to the Hurt bit. Oh, yeah.
I know that, but she's married to one of the Usos, so if we're building
she's married. That's a good
building This was 2 weeks ago, but if we're building a Samoan faction, I almost wish she'd be there because she's married to one of the Usos. So that's just in the continuity I have to work with. That's just how I was.
In my wrestling.
In my wrestling. If I was the booker,
there you go.
Push my hypothetical not there glasses up my nose.
So what else? Last night in NXT and AEW was pretty good.
AEW. I'm a huge AEW fan, dude. I will easily say I'm AEW over anything else. But
nothing wrong with that.
They let me down last night, man. Cody Rhodes came back. That's cool. It was an okay match between Brody Lee and Orange Cassidy from what I saw of it.
It was stupid. What? How does Orange Cassidy have a better chance with Brody Lee than Cody? He beat Cody in 3 minutes. He struggled with Orange Cassidy.
The story was this, though. Cody had been putting that belt on the line every week. His body was worn down physically, and he had been arrogant for it. So you bring in someone like Brody Lee and you build him as a beast. That is my justification in the storyline is, hey, man, for this many consistent weeks, Cody had been putting on quality matches that he had been getting hurt during and injured during and working through. And so when Brody comes in, who is like the first quality person to take him on who could take that belt off of him, all of this accumulates to Cody just getting squashed. That's the storyline I like seeing. That's what I saw play out. Orange Cassidy's so over, though, man. He just did the distance with Jericho. So, I mean, that's how I can see it. And Brody's comeuppance is going to be the fact that he underestimates everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, Orange Cassidy's not going to take that belt off him. Orange Cassidy does not need a belt. No. He is over.
He doesn't need a belt.
You could have the belts on all the best people, and Orange Cassidy would still be the most cheered person in the arena. Yeah. He's Orange Cassidy. Yeah. He's just cool. I know you.
There were kids dressed up as him in the crowd last night. It's good to see.
Yeah, man.
It's good to see again, man. That's really cool. It's good to see people in the crowds and stuff again.
And it's neat. Oh, yeah, man. And it's neat just to see the character. You know, dude. So I'm for it. I know
I still need a little bit. I don't know, man. I get what you're saying. But being a somewhat former athlete or whatever, you got a week in between matches. I mean, you should be healed pretty well. But anyway.
It's the story. Man.
I got you.
Suspension of disbelief, you know.
Let me touch briefly on that shit show was that first match, the tag team match with Miro and Kip Sabian and Sonny and
Joey Janela. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here with that shit. That was a waste of time. That was the worst. It sucked. That was a horrible debut for Miro. Horrible. I mean, maybe he has a little bit of ring rust or whatever, and you want to put him in a tag team match. Okay, whatever. But do better. That shit was sloppy.
It was, man. It wasn't worth the signing of that guy. You know, he didn't come across as the badass, you know what I mean? He was meant to.
Miro or Rusev that he is gonna be.
I was never a fan of Rusev, man. Like this is I see how this is a major signing in the world of wrestling. I do. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's just like, cool, you got another big guy. Neat. What are you gonna do with him? Because this personality of I am the best man is only going to get as far. It's a cool name of the best man. I'm like, neat. That sounds intimidating. But we have Lance Archer there, who's a big guy. We have Wardlow, who's a big guy. We have Luchasaurus, another big guy.
Brian Cage. I think, what if they team him up with Taz and Brian Cage and Ricky Starks?
See, I like, okay, you know what? Congratulate. Hey, Miro, get the F into my wrestling. This works for me.
Miro. Joey Janela, get the F out of my wrestling. But you can come back for the squash matches. You know what I mean?
He puts on great quality, get hurt.
Look at the light,
him and Kevin Owens make a great team because they both look like fans over looking like wrestlers. You hate Joey Janela so much.
Don't you dare put him and Kevin Owens in the same sentence.
Much. It's funny.
Kevin Owens is a saint.
Dude, he's like.
But all right. So, enough about that.
So, no. There's one more thing I want to mention.
NXT.
Happened in NXT. Absolutely. Happened on NXT.
Yeah.
Because they finally have the number one contendership to take on Finn Balor for his recently regained NXT World Title.
Yeah.
And it's Kyle O'Reilly.
That's nice.
Dude, I'm so happy for that guy, man.
That's cool.
He's he has the longest run with the tag team titles with Undisputed Era. He's such a cool working hand. He's like a Ring of Honor champion, world champion in Ring of Honor.
Right.
So, dude, it's like a really good payoff for a guy who's been like a good hand for NXT for years now.
Right.
And no offense, he's gonna lose. So hey, good for him. He gets to say his world title match. But
there you go.
What was it? It was Kyle O'Reilly, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes.
That's my boy.
Oh, dude, I know you love some Cameron Grimes.
Love me some Cameron Grimes.
Timothy Thatcher and Kushida, right? It was a 5-man match, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and Kyle O'Reilly won it. Which, hey man, all those guys could arguably go against Finn for the world title, and I buy it. But the best thing is they all lose. Right. Like none of those guys.
You're not taking the belt off Finn right now. You're not taking the belt off him right now.
Like the only one who could see possibly doing it is Kushida, and that's a hell of a push, right off.
Yeah, that's.
So
the only one out of all those I could see is Cameron Grimes, just because of the somewhat little bit of a push he's been getting.
He has gotten some wins. I mean,
he's had a lot of matches on TV.
And you know what? He's a North Carolina boy. So effing wrestling automatically loves you and wants to see you with the gold, man.
Exactly. All right, so look, we're about 15, 16 minutes into the show or whatever.
Absolutely.
We haven't gotten to what we're going to be talking about today, which is NXT.
Our favorite NXT World Champions. And if we have time, tag teams.
There you go.
Might have a whole other episode. Who knows?
So we're back to list. So past couple episodes, we build our factions and everything, but now we're back to the foundation, to the, you know what I mean?
The core of effing wrestling's all about. Just like our list. What do we like? What do we think?
There we go. You want to start with tag team or champs? Let's start with tag teams and finish off with champs.
Sure. I'm down for that.
You want to go first?
Sure, man. I have my number 5 team is a team that came in. They were heavy hitters. They were a Monster Hoss tag team. And funny enough, how we had to start with the sad news of Road Warrior Animals passing, this was a team I felt took that mantle on. And the fact they were led by manager Paul Ellering, I think you know who I'm talking about, the authors of Pain, Akam and Razor. Dude, they were just massive beasts.
Yeah.
They had the tactical gear. They just came in. They had the bookend. They just messed people up, dude. They were a Hoss tag team. They were green for sure,
right?
But they were dominating and worked their way up to getting there. They're getting the belt.
Athletic, just so athletic. Big athletic dudes.
Man. I know one of them was like new judo, and he would use a lot of throws and use his weight.
Razor, Akam and Razor, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like, man, does it remind me of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 villains, Toka and Razor?
Right.
I know that's a random one-off, but it just made me go,
I like it.
Akam, Razor. Like Toka and Razor?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I like it.
They've made their first appearance at Takeover the End, which is going to make a lot of references of because it's such a good show. But they ended up jumping American Alpha after American Alpha lost the tag team titles to the Revival. So they made a huge impact right in there of taking on arguably who was the big face team in American Alpha at the time.
Yeah.
So they made that. They ended up winning the titles off of DIY at TakeOver San Antonio. They didn't have like a really long run with them, man, but they had a dominant run with them. Like the program with DIY continued all the way on through like TakeOver Orlando and TakeOver Chicago. And they were the standing champs there the whole time. They actually finally lost them to Sanity, which was another really cool faction / tag team that had a really good run with it. But they did that at Brooklyn 3, that TakeOver. I was just a fan of this Hoss team. They didn't do much, and once they moved up to the main roster, things did not go well for them. But they were injured.
Unfortunately,
like one would get injured, the other would come back, another would get injured. They had a really good push with Seth Rollins and his disciples with Buddy Murphy. That was a really good building faction. But now they got released. So shit.
I think they should go back to go to Japan or either go to Impact. I mean, there's too many tag teams in AEW.
They don't need to go to AEW.
Don't go to AEW.
Dude, go to New Japan. Giants, they would rule over there. They'd be like Gallows and Anderson. They'd be like War Machine. They could really do some damage. They'd have to rename themselves, like the Riders of Wrath or something like that. But we'll see.
Or hey, the POD, Pain on Delivery.
Pain on Delivery.
That's a good name.
It's a great name.
All right.
I mean, who do you got for your number 5 spot?
I got the Ascension. Just because they had the longest reign as tag team. I didn't see much of it, honestly. I started watching NXT probably around, you know what I mean, the end of 2015.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they had already lost the belts and moved up by then, I think. So
yeah, by the time I started watching,
I don't know much about them, but I put them at number 5 because I respect the length of their reign.
Dude, funny enough, man, another team that pulled a lot.
The Road Warriors, basically.
Road Warriors, the face paint, the shoulder pads of Victor and Connor, man, and they had a dominating run, dude, in NXT when your CAD divisions were forming. It's so weird, dude. I'm a huge NXT fan. I went back and watched a lot of the earlier stuff, and around that time, it's still really trying to figure out its legs and find itself. I mean, again, I don't think NXT really kind of cracks the code of what it is in 2015, late into it even.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I totally like the gimmick that the Ascension were.
Yeah. That's my number 5 just because of the number.
I respect that. It's funny enough, dude, speaking of gimmick teams that remind you of the Road Warriors, my number 4 spot is another team that is heavily influenced by a past tag team, American Alpha. Okay. Dude, they were the main faces when I got into NXT because they were just formed. You know, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. They both had
they put on some good matches, man.
Dude, them and the Revival were
they were just those matches.
Their matches, I actually have in the list in there, are what got me to pay attention to NXT in that way of going, this is really good. Where WWE was putting really good stuff, their stories weren't quality. Triple H had his finger on the pulse, man, and really knew how to put teams together. Because this was 2 guys who tried to do single pushes. Jason Jordan was, I think, in a tag team with, I think, Corey Graves or someone else for a while, and that just fell flat. Yeah. But then they do this Steiner Brothers ripoff, or homage, not a ripoff. I mean, they're wearing the singlets. They're coming out as they
Steiner Brothers, Kurt Angle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Olympic.
We can get
No, we don't need to do that.
No need, because you know what? That plot line, the Kurt Angle's illegitimate son, get the F out of my wrestling.
That'll be on the A. That's a worst plot line show. We'll do that.
I like that idea. So they had one title reign. They only lasted 68 days, which isn't too long, but the plot that was going on was so good because they were having that massive rivalry with the Revival. So they won at TakeOver Dallas from the Revival, only to lose them back at TakeOver The End. See? The End. Because that was a great show because they got jumped by the AOP who debuted.
God, I remember that, man. That was crazy when AOP came in the first time. I remember that.
They just came in and jumped them, and then Paul Ellery waltzed onto the ramp and just stands there.
Huge.
And they were just massive. That's the Paul Ellering. And the connotation of that alone just made that team go, this is a huge deal. This guy managed the Road Warriors. Who are these guys for Paul Ellering to come out of retirement to do this? Yeah. So it immediately made them. I mean, that goes back to I guess that kind of almost switches it, but I like the series of matches that American Alpha and Revival put on. They really just sold me what the faces of NXT were at the time. Like there's a photo. I'm gonna get to these people probably later on as well, but it's American Alpha, Finn Balor, Bayley, and Shinsuke Nakamura, and they just won like a 5-on-5 tag match. I don't know who they were against, but it just looks like the ultimate NXT Survivor Series face team.
Yeah.
And that's what I think of American Alpha, of like, before you get lost in who's face and who's heel, there's American Alpha.
Right.
They take my spot.
I like it. My number 4.
What's your number 4? What you got?
You're going to be surprised by this, I think.
Okay.
DIY.
I like it. They have to be there.
American Alpha's not on my list. They would be my number 6. They would be my honorable mention.
Okay.
American Alpha would. But DIY, I didn't really like them just because, I didn't really like them too much. I'm a heel kind of guy. Mm-hmm. I didn't like their little gimmick that I don't know. I
Do
wasn't
it
fans
yourself.
of them.
We're just, no one believes in us. We're working our way from the bottom.
What won me over was that 2 out of 3 match with the Revival.
Oh, dude, that's a masterclass.
That was some of the most beautiful wrestling I've ever seen.
I mean, that match. That's like one of the Godfather of matches, man. I mean, I just tell people to go watch things like, oh, hey, you don't like wrestling? Go check this match out. You might actually get into it.
Check this out.
There's so much storytelling.
It was great. No, they had a short reign. You know what I mean? I'll keep it short and sweet.
Oh,
they had a short reign, but it was good. You know what I mean? But those matches with the Revival.
You know what, JR? If I can combine your fourth with my third, because DIY is my third. And we can go into some of those details because they did have a short reign. It only lasted 70 days.
Yeah.
Which for a tag team that has such like this magnitude towards them, that's short. But that's another really cool thing about NXT is they didn't hot potato titles like they're doing now, it seems. And so even if you had a short reign, just holding it at all meant you were over. It meant you got the eyes of the crowd on you. So short. I mean, even American Alpha had a short run. I think theirs even shorter than DIY's. I just said it, and it's already
it's close. I was like 68 days.
Yeah. That's what it was. But it wasn't. See, they're not a tag team that matters. It's their story that broke away after they broke up is what really carries them through.
One of the best rivalries in wrestling.
Oh yeah, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso.
In the past 20 years, one of the best rivalries in the past 20 years.
I believe, what was it? They lost the titles to AOP at San Antonio, and that's when Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano. You have that great moment of like Tommaso cupping the back of Gargano's hand, just kind of like going, "It's my time now," and just throwing him into the screen. Man, it's just so powerful. I remember watching it. What's happening? And it was weird because Tommaso Ciampa was also injured, and it was like known information. He was going off for a while. Yeah. So it was a really cool way to take that storyline. Yeah. But no, dude, their rivalry with the Revival is classic. And again, man, NXT, you had to take people and put them together. They had great tag teams, but they knew how to form them.
But
like DIY was two guys from the Indies. They just put together.
I mean, they made Murphy and they made Buddy Murphy and they were champs.
Yeah, dude, Blake and
Murphy. All Billions were a legitimate tag team with them. The Street Profits were legitimate with them.
Yeah. One of them was.
They've gotten.
One of the
Montez Ford is legit. Montez Ford is legit.
Yeah, Montez Ford is great. Know what the problem?
He's close to getting out.
Angelo Dawkins, Know what the problem? Know what the biggest problem I have with the Street Profits is?
What's that?
Private Party's right over there doing it all better.
But everybody can't be flippity.
Yeah, I know that,
but anyway, we're getting
off subject. We're getting off subject. That's a whole other list, ladies and gentlemen.
So another thing,
DIY is my third. They're your fourth. They're my third.
Okay.
But you know why? Because they're a great team, sure. But Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are great wrestlers. They make anything work. The storyline that came from them being a tag team and the dissolution of that, and it's
still going on.
The massive rivalry they put on is like never ending. The only problem with it
4 years later.
It just got messed up with timing and injury. But it is just their storyline is one of the best ever told in wrestling. Anyone who gets into wrestling, I please go check that out. Moving on.
So be ready to go again because it's going to be short and sweet again because my number 3 is AOP.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had them number 3 just because of everything.
Wait, dude, they're beasts. Yeah. How can you not, man?
Everything that's already been said.
Everything we said is right there, man.
They're again,
so cool, dude.
They were 200. They reigned for 200 days.
Dude, there's some long reigns, man.
That's a good stretch.
And they won ladder matches, which you wouldn't imagine big guys to be good at ladder.
Yeah. Goodness.
And I think that was like a 3-way match between Sanity and DIY, I believe.
I think you're right.
Might be wrong.
I don't know for sure, but yeah, AOP is my number 3.
Know who my number 2 is?
I could. Wow. Okay.
Undisputed.
All right. Undisputed. Undisputed, baby.
Dude, I mean, you talked about numbers with the Ascension.
So how are they your number 2?
Because my number 1 is. We'll get there.
No, I get it. I understand.
You jump. Hey, man.
No, because
as Tetsu and Naito would do.
All right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Talking about numbers, they're the only tag team so far to hold the tag team titles 3 times. Their consistent reign. I had the number added up and I can't find it, but their first reign is 180 days, 219 days, and 185 days. And they work the Freebird rule.
That's crazy.
And you have Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, who now has a number 1 contendership, Bobby Fish and Roger Strong, and they've been such good whiny, weaselly shit heels.
So good.
It's so beautiful, good, man. Adam Cole is a genius.
Adam Cole is he's great. He's gonna show up on my next list for sure.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Adam Cole.
Let's go ahead and get through the rest of these kind of quick because obviously my number 2 is the Revival.
Oh yeah.
The Revival is my number 2.
Yeah.
They've been the 2-time tag team champions. They're great. Period. They are my favorite tag team of right now.
Absolutely.
The Revival.
That's why the Revival
your number 1
is my number 1. I mean, dude, you mentioned the run they had with DIY. You had to mention the match they had with American Alpha. They're the first team to ever have 2 runs. Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson.
Yeah.
Their total runs are 386 days.
How many times have they been champs?
Twice.
Okay.
They've had 2 runs. They were the first team to do that, though.
Okay.
They had their great match with The End with American Alpha, where they ended up with they won the titles back from them after losing him to American Alpha the first go around. They had great program.
They are great.
Absolutely, dude.
How many times have they been champs?
Twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've held them twice.
So my number 1 is the team that's held it 3 times.
Held it 3 times. They've held it 3 times?
They've held it 3 times. Okay. Yeah. Longer reigns than them. Dominant, like you said, the Freebird rule. The best heels going right. Well, tag team, they were great heels for a little while. Yeah. I'm going with the number 1. They wanted the most. How can you not?
Okay, you know why? Because they've done it during a depleted roster. Okay, the tag division in NXT is not what it meant. That 3rd title reign was done when they had no one to give the belts to. It's desperation.
I'll give you
desperation is that 3rd title reign. Go look at who they won it from in the matches. The Bruiserweights, Imperium. You had the Forgotten Sons around at the times.
Forgotten Sons. They've gotten the hell out of my life.
Get the hell out of wrestling.
Get the hell out of my life.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude,
so
are we hopping on?
So mine were.
Do we have to flash round our favorite world champions? Because I got details. And plots.
We just don't need. We can't. Let's just not. Yeah. Let's just go a little bit of flash round, I guess. Because we teased it in the beginning. We got to do them both. We got to do it. So look. So I'll start this one off, and I'll start it off with kind of a slash. Kind of a. So my number 5 is going to be Bobby Roode / Tommaso Ciampa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Now, Bobby Roode is my number 5, so I agree with you all day long there. But Tommaso Ciampa is low.
Yeah, I mean.
I am surprised. Wow, really? 5 for you? You were a huge fan of that run.
Love him. Love Tommaso Ciampa. Love what he was doing. It's just
Goldie, the way he would clutch the belt to his chest was just. All right. So
the other ones have had the people I have above him. They've won the belt more.
Dude, Tommaso Ciampa is my number 2.
That's impressive.
I'll go ahead and spoil that, man. Just because he made the belts are props, but he made that prop mean something.
Yeah, you're right. Goldie.
Daddy's home, Goldie. I'm coming for you, Goldie. He just. Yeah. The Sicilian psychopath. I mean, the matches he would put on to get the belt. I mean, I love Tommaso Ciampa.
I agree, but look, the reason I put Bobby Roode higher, and it's weird, is because he was so close to being like Ric Flair to me. I loved Bobby Roode as a heel in NXT.
Dude, I have that down.
I loved him more than I loved Tommaso being a heel in NXT.
The glorious theme.
Come on, man!
And he made the whole gimmick work.
That's my Ric Flair love. He was so close to. He was just that flashy champion.
Oh man,
I love that.
Jared, for a while during this time period, I formed my own 4 horsemen for NXT, and it was Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, and the Revival. They all just had that vibe to them. Just Bobby Roode just screams, "I'm Ric for all the people that have tried to pull that Ric Flair gimmick off, he's the only one to come the closest.
Definitely.
And his move up to the main roster sucked. And his matches never really had the weight. I mean, him and Shinsuke Nakamura didn't have really good chemistry, so their world title match didn't really work out. Right. He had his next thing was with Hideo Itami, which was kind of like, eh. Yeah. That's just Hideo Itami not being a good rival. But his match with Drew McIntyre, he lost. It was actually pretty substantial. That was a good match. Yeah. And also the first appearance of Adam Cole on NXT.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Good call.
So yeah, man. That's my
number 5, and then that's your number 5. So my number 4.
What you got for 4?
Samoa Joe.
Dude, Samoa Joe's my number 4.
All right. So I think our list, except for your number 2, I think our list is pretty much going to be similar from the rest.
I think they'll sync up pretty nicely.
That's pretty cool.
Samoa Joe, 2 reigns. He's the first guy to hold that belt twice.
Joe. My kids, yo.
Dude, I love Joe.
From going to the live shows and stuff.
Yeah.
That's my kids. They would get so hyped when Joe would come out. My daughter would get up and I'd hold her up and just Joe. That's just some of the best memories of going to shows I've ever had.
Dude,
yeah, man, Joe was just the best. He was the shit, man. He's just that badass heel.
Dude, he held the belt for 135 days in total. He had that back and forth with Finn Balor. He had great program. Him and Finn Balor were a strong tag team, and then Finn Balor was world champion, and Joe had to take it off of him, and he took it off. I mean, he lost it at a house show of all places.
That's crazy.
I know, but I think they wanted to hold up that idea that anything could happen in NXT, and so they have their world title just switch at a house show. It was neat.
I love it.
And then the same thing happened when Joe lost it to Shinsuke Nakamura. That was a Tokyo house show. It was like Osaka, Japan. So not Tokyo, a Japanese show. So it was in Osaka, Japan. I actually have that written down somewhere.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Joe was my number 4 as well, man.
It is. Okay, that's crazy. All right, so it's gonna be quick. All right, so my number 4, your number 4. So my number 3 is Shinsuke.
No, Shinsuke was my honorable mention.
Okay, all right.
Shinsuke had to be my honorable mention to this whole thing. Yeah. I mean, prominent run. I was so happy to see who he was and figure out what he was all about, and then go check out what Strong Style was, and then his New Japan run.
Right.
His farewell match with AJ Styles is something to be seen.
So good, yo.
And his debut match with Sami Zayn. I don't have what NXT that's took place at, or what takeover that took place at, but that, dude, I wholeheartedly I had 2 runs with the belt.
Exactly. And I liked his run a little bit better than Joe, so that's why I put him at 3. So
dude, it was a toss-up, man. It really was.
Yeah, exactly.
I had my top ones set out, but then it became kind of hard to figure out who I wanted to cut off. Because my number 3 is Andrade Cien Almas.
I know it, man.
Dude, I love Andrade Cien Almas.
Love that dude.
That guy's being wasted. He is money on the main roster, and he's just being wasted away. I mean, his reign lasted 140 days.
Yeah.
He took it off Drew McIntyre, and it was sad, man, because Drew McIntyre got injured in the match, so it wasn't a strong finish for it.
Good. Yeah,
but take out, man. Andrade went on to have WWE's first 5-star match in 7 years with Johnny Gargano.
Johnny G.
I mean, they were at Philadelphia. They were takeover Philadelphia with Johnny Gargano, and I saw that match, man. They were insane.
It was good. I love him, man. That's not a bad pick.
And I really like it because he was someone who was on the roster for a long time, floundered to find his place, and then got Selena Vega, and then just flew right to the top. He's going, here's this laid back, chill heel. Yeah. I just dug him so much, man. I was really happy when he got a run. I really hope he starts doing some major stuff on the main roster.
Yeah.
That'd be what's up.
100%. Totally agree, man. So, yeah.
Number 2, it's Tommaso Ciampa, man, for all the we list, because the Sicilian Assassin is he's like the Wolverine of NXT, man. He's just a badass. Yeah. He's kind of
he's almost like he's kind of a cerebral assassin, you know what I mean? Kind of a Triple H. Kind of a Triple H.
Absolutely. Dude, remember when we built our own
I'm cool with that.
I wanted to put him on my new Evolution squad. But he just kind of doesn't need to move up. He's even said that he wants to stay in NXT.
Yeah. Good for him.
And he's an older guy. I wanted to build off a younger squad. So who's your number 2?
Okay. My number 2, this might surprise you, my number 2, because it's Finn Balor. Finn's my number 2.
Okay. So I know who your number 1 is.
Exactly. Finn, that was just So I'm looking at the dates now. When I got into NXT, Kevin Owens was about to lose the belt to Finn Balor.
Yeah,
And I remember watching that because Kevin Owens, I remember him, turning on Sami Zayn after that and everything. And that's when
the night Sami Zayn won the belt off of Neville. Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens went heel and just powerbombed him, took the belt. It was this huge deal.
Yeah,
Sami Zayn.
So that's when I got into NXT, and then Finn won it from him.
See, I got into it right when Finn got into it. Yeah,
just the Demon. Holy shit, the Demon. That's so
Dude,
bad.
I know I've referenced before.
Love the Demon, yo. Love that
takeover that took place over SummerSlam weekend.
Yeah,
and I think it was. Oh yeah, it was the first Brooklyn show because it was a ladder match between Kevin Owens and the Demon Finn Balor, and that whole spectacle of that just got me into it. I just started following everything that was Finn Balor and NXT from that point on.
Yeah.
Again, that was July of 2015, man. Just that time period alone is great. Finn Balor's my number one.
Okay.
Because, hey, man, he was the face of NXT when I got into it, man. To me, he has always been the face of NXT. The fact he's back in there and is world champion, I hope he has a long run with that title.
Okay. So just to jump in, speaking of long runs,
absolutely.
Short on time. Speaking of
short on time, long on runs.
The longest run.
Adam Cole, baby.
That's my number one.
Oh, absolutely, man.
That's my number one. He's been the shit. He's been my favorite heel in NXT.
Dude,
he's, you know what I mean? He's a little big-headed, a little badass shit talker.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? I love it.
I mean, you could sit there and go, he's my honorable mention. I really was upset that Adam Cole didn't make mine, and I didn't realize that until I try to make my list really quick, like not try to put a lot of thought into like them when I'm jotting them down so I can go back and get details and then go, oh, hey, this was my gut reaction.
Yeah.
And then I'd see Adam Cole up there was like, oh man, should I go back? Going, I want that? No, but I like everyone for their story, and I like Adam Cole's story, but it's still being told.
Right.
I like that he's held the belt for me as often as he has. I think no one fits this in wrestling. There's always that awful of like, hey, they're the next Shawn Michaels. They're the next Shawn Michaels. And when I see Adam Cole, I'm going, nah, dude. That's the first Adam Cole.
That's the first Adam Cole, baby.
So,
yeah,
dude,
that's my list, man. That's Adam Cole's my number one, Finn's number two, Shinsuke's 3, Samoa Joe's 4, and Bobby Roode / Tommaso Ciampa.
I got Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, Andrade Cien Almas, Samoa Joe, and Bobby Roode. I think those are a grand representation of what NXT stood for.
Yeah, definitely. So next week we got the NXT Women's Champ,
and the North American title.
North American title champ.
You'll find out who JR I think are the top 5 best and both winners.
There you go.
That's a way to phrase that.
Sounds good to me, baby. Sounds good to me.
JR.
Yo, so look, and plus we have an anniversary. So this is episode 8 that we're doing now, right?
Yeah.
So then we'll have 9, and then big number 10 coming up soon. So we got to come up with something pretty cool. We might.
Oh, don't worry. We
might
have
introduce
ideas.
our segments or something that we got planned out, or
introduce some
interviews.
Who knows, man?
Characters. Who knows? That'll be around. Well, it'll be before Halloween. So, but still, we'll figure out
Halloween
something.
Havoc.
There it is.
JR.
What up, Chase? Good to see you.
It's always a pleasure talking some effing wrestling.
Baby. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank
like
you.
And subscribe.
Comment. Who are your favorite NXT champs?
Effing wrestling.
Thanks, everybody.
We put the F back in wrestling.
Elbow drops and lariats from the top rope. You can't cope. The effing wrestling podcast in the house. Now that's dope. Starcade and SummerSlam all rolled into one. Drop kick, sleeper holes. 1, 2, 3, done. Whole mics like Mean Gene or Gordon Soley. I'm Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with that Crockett trophy. So listen closely as we approach the final hour in an instant. Hands raised, crowds phase without the time limit. Effing wrestling podcast with that ultimate finish. Suplex, now you end it. Yes!